Hi everyone, welcome back to Boyd Disc Golf. My name is Ephraim Boyd, and we're starting the new year with the in the bag. So, without wasting another minute, we're gonna start with my putting putters. I'm putting with Stokely Wrens for 2025. Scott Stokely was amazing when I met him at USDGC. He's a great guy to work with, so if you have the opportunity to buy some of his discs, do so. They have some of the best feeling plastic and some really cool molds. He's coming out with new molds like every other month, it feels like. Next we have my throwing putters. So I have a overstable Envy and the Eclipse plastic. It's just nice for those little flex shots that I want to come back, but not as overstable as the Zone in my bag, or if I want it to just go straight and then fade. Next I have two PA3s. I have this, I believe, 400 plastic PA3. It's nice and overstable, but not too overstable. It's less overstable than the Envy, where it also has less glide. So I like to use it for those approach shots so it doesn't go too far when the Envy flies closer to a mid-range speed. And then on the opposite side of that, for my flippy putter, I have a 300G base plastic PA3. And this one is very warped, where you can obviously see it's hit lots of trees. I got this one used from a buddy of mine on the college disc golf team, and it was my throwing putters. Next, I like to separate my throwing putters and my putters from the approach discs, and I have 3 approach discs right now. I had 4, but I just took out the Zone OS, but I may put it back in soon. So for my first approach disc, I have a Spore. I had the glitch in for a while, but it was not torque resistant enough. And the Spore seems to handle my bad form a little better than the glitch did, so it ended up in the bag. I think I'm gonna try and get a more stiff Cloudstone soon to replace the soft Neo plastic. Next we have a Z Zone. This is a Ledgestone Zone from, I don't know, 21 I believe, and I've had it for forever. It's puddle topped and still the most overstable zone I've ever thrown. Then I have the Z Flex Zone. I got this one used as well, and it is much straighter than that other zone, where I can trust it to fight wind but not dump out as fast as the other zone. Next, I have my mid-ranges. So I have 4 mid-ranges right now. For my flippy mid-range, I have the Finish Line Supra. I thought it was going to be like a Buzz, but it ended up being flippier than I thought it would be. So I use this for hyzer flips or slight turnover shots. I honestly didn't throw a lot of mid-ranges before I got this and the reactor, but since then I've been throwing a lot more mid-range shots. So yeah, this is my hyzer flip disc in the Supra, and then I have a Fission reactor that basically flies like people say a Buzz should, where it's just dead straight with a little bit of fade at the end. And I get this about 275, 300, about in that range. So yeah, it's a great flight. Next, if I'm worried about a little bit of wind or I need it to go left, I have the Stokely Cardinal. Again, love Stokely discs. And this one has a bit of a pop top, so it glides a lot more than the next disc, but this still is reliably overstable. If I need a slight flex from a mid-range, I'm going to this, and it's just an amazing mid-range. I have thought about replacing that with a standard neutron reactor, but so far I like the Cardinal. Next, for my extremely overstable slot, I have a Runway. I got this when I first learned about Streamline, and I have loved it ever since. And yeah, it just dumps right. It is as overstable, if not more overstable than that Z Zone I showed you, and it just goes about 50 feet further. Next, we have the Fairway drivers. I have 5 of them. We'll start with most understable. I have a DJA Pipeline. This is not like the numbers say at all. It's not a -1-1. It is more like a -2-0, where if I throw it soft enough, it'll still fly straight, but it will also turn over if I put enough power on it. So this is my Heiser flip disc, and yeah, I absolutely love it for that. And this I get about 300, 320. Next we have my FD. This is a very, very stable FD. I got it used from a buddy of mine on the disc golf team, and you know, I thought it would fly like everyone says FDs fly, straight and then maybe turn a bit and then end. But no, this buddy, I can flex this and it'll still fight back left. It is a weird run of FD, and I think I'll be very sad if I lose it. I think in the future I will add like an S-line FD to complement this to replace the next disc when I lose it. Next we have this T-Bird 3. This is the first disc I ever bought. It's been with me through thick and thin, and I love it to death. It is beat to shreds. It does not have a T-Bird flight anymore, but it can still handle some torque resistance. So I can mash into it and push it about 330, 350. And yeah, I just love this disc. It has like an S-curve flight, but like I said previously, I will probably replace it with an S-line FD if I ever lose it. Next we have a new disc in the bag, and that's an Honor. And this disc, I replaced my Thunderbird with it because I felt like I had too much Innova in the bag a couple of months ago, so I decided to go to my local shop and pick up an Honor, and I've been loving this ever since then. This disc just flies basically like a Thunderbird does, and the plastic feels amazing. So glad I could represent some latitude in here. Next we have another disc because I wanted to get rid of Innova. I got rid of the Firebird, and they had some FD3s around. So I picked up this FD3, and flies just like a Firebird, if not a little bit more overstable, which I like. So this just does Firebird things. It's amazing. Last but not least, we have distance drivers. So for these distance drivers, I have this VIP Air Sword. This thing flips like crazy. I think it's 153 grams. So I can put this thing on this much hyzer and it still fights over to go back right. And I use this for lots of rollers. It doesn't come out very often. It's not my max distance disc, but it's still a vital part of having rollers, which I'm just starting to get. Next is a heavier version of it, and that is a heavier sword. That is, I believe, 175 grams, so about 20 grams heavier than that sword. And this one I can still put on hyzer, and it flips up and drifts a little bit, but flies much straighter than the other one. And I push this 375, 400. Next, I have this Trespass. This is very torque resistant, where I can still mash on it and it not fight me too much, but I can still turn it. I don't turn it over, but I pull on it too much occasionally. So yeah, I do love the Trespass, but it doesn't flip, it doesn't turn, it just basically holds whatever line I put on it. So love the Trespass for that, and I push this about the same distance as the sword, but I use the sword a little more than the Trespass. Last but not least, in the bag, I have this Rumble from Remix Discs, and it feels almost like a non-overmolded trail, but I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's what it is. And this is pretty stable for what I thought it would be, and my most stable distance driver where it goes left whenever I throw it. And I don't know why that is, but yeah, that's what I use it for. If there's wind, it flies pretty much like the Trespass, but when there's calm conditions, it goes left. Now I do have some accessories on the bag. So I have this chalk here from Tacky Sacks. Then I have some sports sacks in here that I use fairly often. I have an Innova one and a dynamic one. I have some disc dots over here, a bag tag, towel. I have this Trash Panda Mini and this Mini for school. It's just some cool memorabilia. And then in here, I have my rangefinder that I just recently got, but has been very helpful for nailing in my distances, and some KT tape for if I get injured on the course. If you like that video, make sure to subscribe. We have lots more videos coming down the pipeline. I hope you have a blessed day. Bye.